o'clock, 7. Hare Krishna. Welcome to everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to everyone in this pre-marathon or beginning of a marathon meeting. We have the great fortune to have with us His Holiness Janananda Maharaj, who for me, he's like there's generals that stay in the back and organize and send the troops out. And then there's it's called field generals, the generals who are out on the front line, right in front of everyone, leading the charge. And Maharaj he's like the personification of the transcendental field general who's leading the troops on this. And Prabhupada, sometimes he would call it our army, it's like a military base. Our temples are like an army base where we send the troops out with the bombs of the books to change the hearts of the conditioned souls. So I think Maharaj he's done a miracle. He's brought France out of the downward spiral back up to its glory, simply by his example, by his enthusiasm, his preaching, and by his example, which is like Prabhupada did. Prabhupada didn't ask us to do anything that he didn't do. So Maharaj is giving that example. And I'll just read a quick letter from Srila Prabhupada, and then we'll pass over to Maharaj. This is a letter from 75. Europe and America, from Srila Prabhupada, are in great danger. This Hare Krishna movement is enveloping them. The Sankirtan devotees are very, very dear to Krishna because you are doing the field work of book distribution. Krishna has immediately recognized them as true servants, just like during wartime. A farm boy or ordinary clerk who goes to fight for his country on the front immediately becomes a national hero for his sincere effort. So Krishna immediately recognizes a preacher of Krishna consciousness who takes all risks to deliver his message. It is called Dhira Vrata, determination. These boys and girls are Mahatmas, all Mahatmas, all devotees. Mahatmanas tumang parta daivim prakriti mashita, Prajanyananta manaya manaso yatva mutadim avyayam. Hosannaprita, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature, therefore engage in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. This verse is applicable here. If these boys were under material nature, they would not take so much risk. They are Mahatma. They are real Mahatma, not that long beard and saffron cloth Mahatma. They are unswerving in their determination. Dhira Vrata, all glories to the American and European devotees. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
All right.
We'll now pass to Janananda Maharaj. We'll put him in the center.
Hare Krishna, my dear. Try to ask Prabhu, my senior god brother, inspiration to all of us. And thank you for everything you're doing to keep us together and doing whatever little we can to encourage the devotees to take shelter of Srila Prabhupada and do what we can to imbibe the teachings of his writings and to try to distribute them to others. So Hare Krishna, everybody. And nice to see you again, to be with you again. And we have in France, I don't know about everywhere, but we just started the marathon a couple of days ago. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaः Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagada Mayam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragnatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Anvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Varishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Marathon 2025 Ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna. Well, we started a little early this year, maybe just still in that situation. I wasn't able to get out today, unfortunately, with a lot of administration work to do. And we're hoping to join the devotees a little bit on the street. Task Prabhu mentioned about the field commander or the field marshal general, whatever you want to call it. I'm like a headless chicken sometimes. I don't know what's going on. I just go out there and see what Krishna has in store. He always has his plans, and there's always sometimes things are a little challenging, but we just carry on and never give up. Tonight, I'm going to try. I actually wrote a little poem a few minutes before this session started, or a little bit before the session. I thought I'd read out the poem as a starters, and thanks to all the devotees. We're talking Europe here. We're not, because it could be the whole world. We're talking specifically about with our European devotees who are endeavoring to perform this great yagya by Vishnu, to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yagya Sankirtanam Priya Yujantihi Sumedashi. We all know that in this age of Kali, the Sankirtan Yagya is the only way. There is no other way of attaining perfection or pleasing the Lord. So we try to perform the yagya. Now, we don't necessarily know what a yagya is. Yagya, Prabhupada one time said, preaching means to cooperate and assist me in my mission. So it's not that we know, but we follow those who are actually, Prabhupada put so much emphasis on all types of services. We all know that. They're all important. But as we're talking in terms of the book marathon or book distribution in general, obviously we're going to try to mention a few things which might be related to book distribution, particularly and specifically, as more than any other, say, outreach activity, as far as I can see, other than sadhana performances therein. But in terms of outreach, missionary activity, book distribution received more emphasis than pretty much anything else. And we understand how important this activity is, the importance of the activity, how much it pleases the pure devotee. That's basically our measuring rod of whether we're on the right line or whether we're not on the right line. So many of you are taking part in the marathon, or as we mentioned just now, Prabhupada said that to distribute books is the greatest service, but to organize is even greater. So many of you are engaged in trying to facilitate and organize, maybe we could say, but at least to facilitate those wonderful devotees who are doing their best to spread this message of Krishna consciousness, young, old, and everywhere throughout Europe, I suppose. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of devotees will be taking whatever way they can to distribute Prabhupada's books. We're not very innovative here. As I say, I'm kind of like stuck in a rut. I don't know, to go out on the street and just try to ask people to please take one of Prabhupada's books somehow or another. I don't know much else. Some devotees are expert on social media. Some are expert in entering into institutions and getting them to take Prabhupada's books. So many other methods, bookshops, I don't know, so many ways these days, because we have social media in different forms, not just selling books, but also what do we call it, electronic versions of the books and so on. Some or other getting that knowledge out, although being an old timer, it's the books themselves which to me have weight, is like, they're very special. Okay, well, I'll read this poem for all it's worth. I hope you bear with me. Just got to get it off my chest. And I just wrote this well, probably an hour or so before the session this evening, and I was just thinking what to say, what to do. And the other day we were in a little talk on the first day of the marathon about how easy it is to give up, how easy it is to become disheartened, how easy it is to, find excuse for whatever it may be relevant, may be valid, but reasons why we shouldn't be doing, or why I don't need to go out and distribute books, or whatever it is, distribute books in general. It's our business is to please Prabhupada, so that's obvious the reason that we want to please Srila Prabhupada. It's not about feeling good or winning or whatever we may call it, but just to please the Lord through the media of his pure devotees. So this was always our mood, during Srila Prabhupada's personal physical presence, so to speak. This was our mood, at least, to always try to. In the latter years, in the early years, we weren't conscious of that. At least I did a little bit, not that early, but early-ish. And we weren't really conscious of this emphasis so much on book distribution, how much it pleased Prabhupada. But it became more and more evident as the years went by. So I'll read this little poem. It's quite amateurish, to say the least, but I just get off my chest. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. You could say it's called Distribute Books. So, you know, bear with me.
You're cutting
We're
out,
not
Mark.
here to beat or even compete, but to take shelter of the land distributing books wherever we can. The weather wet and pretty cold. We're not here to beat or even compete. Can you hear? Can you hear? Rohini,
Should start over again because you kind of cut out for a minute.
we are not here to beat or even compete, but to take shelter of those lotus feet. By dedicating our time to Sankirtan, distributing books wherever we can. The weather wet and pretty cold, but the Sankirtan heroes incredibly bold as they take to the streets with books in hand. Together we go throughout the land. Can you hear? Can you hear?
Yes, Maharaj. Maharaj, we hear you.
Okay. Together
Yes.
we go throughout the land. In France, Italy, Germany, and in Finland, Belgium, Denmark, Holland, and Poland. In Portugal, Slovenia, Croatia, UK. In Hungary, Greece, Austria, and Norway. In Switzerland, Iceland, Ireland, and Spain. In Sweden, Bulgaria, especially Ukraine. Serbia, Romania, Estonia, Albania. Czech, Montenegro, Kosovo, Lithuania. Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, Latvia, and Andorra. Slovakia, San Marino, let's distribute more. Our Prabhupada's books to smother the land, to put a book in everyone's hand. Whatever the challenges, we welcome all. Chant the holy names we loudly call. The Prabhupada Marathon, we all work together, soldiering on no matter what the weather. We're here for each other, united we stand. Let's distribute books throughout the land. Distribute books, distribute books, distribute books. Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Marathon Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So that was just a little poem which we put together. I think I covered all the countries in Europe. I may have missed one. Maybe we missed. I know, I don't know. I think I got San Marino. Yeah, we got San Marino in there. Pretty much every country in Europe. I went through the list. Tried to get it to rhyme a little bit. Hare Krishna. So let's try to smother the land with transcendental literature of every kind. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Well, we could make many quotations from Srila Prabhupada. And, hold on, I just cancel this out. There we go. And it's nice to hear from Prabhupada. We heard one quote earlier on, and we hear them over and over again. There's a wonderful book has recently been published by Vijay Prabhu on the Briyat Madanga, the glories of the Briyat Madanga. And maybe some of you have your words of experience, of testimonies in that book. I don't know. But it's a wonderful book, and I'll read one testimony in a little while, which inspired me, because I'm not really much of a book distributor. I'm not like Das Prabhu and so many of you who are really, experts and really sincere and selfless in your efforts. I'm quite motivated and I quite depend too much on results, I suppose you could say. Anyway, there's a place for all of us. It doesn't matter what we are, even if we're not able to go out on the street and distribute books. I'm sure everywhere. I saw that there was in Portugal, we're engaging congregational members in preparing prasadam and packs of books and various things for the handful of devotees going out. And we try to do the same thing here with some of our Indian congregation, make nice sweets and muri and various things for the devotees as well as the public, or they just help in various ways. Many of them are sponsoring books and things like that, some at least. Prabhupada said, the sales figures, this is my only solace in my life. When I hear that my books are selling nicely, I become energetic like a young man. Actually, it is a fact that ultimately everyone should preach and distribute books if they want to please me in the best way. Book distribution must be given stress always. There is no doubt about it, to distribute books is our most important activity. And I think there's one of the most famous quotes. This is to Rameshwar Prabhu now, Maharaj, for a long time. Prabhupada wrote, there is no literature throughout the universe like Srimad Bhagavatam. There is no competition. There is no comparison. Every word is for the good of human society. Each and every word. Therefore, we stress so much in the book distribution. Somehow or another, if the book goes in one's hand, he'll be benefited. At least he'll see. I've taken so much price. Let me see what is there. If he reads one shloka, his life will become successful. If he reads one shlok, one word, this is such a nice thing. Therefore, we are stressing so much. Please distribute book. Please distribute books, distribute books. That famous quotation of Srila Prabhupada is appeal to all of us. However we do it, some way or another, try to share this knowledge with others. It's the greatest service. Even the gopis themselves, and Radharani declared that Buddhida Janaha, the one who takes this on board, who tries to share this message with others, and Prabhupada emphasizes especially through the books, is doing the greatest service, is the greatest welfare worker. Sure, it's a little bit austere. Sometimes we wonder why do I have to do this? We don't have to do it if we don't want, but if we really want to attract Krishna, Prabhupada said, don't try to see Krishna. Act in a way that Krishna will see us. What better way than to assist his dearmost devotee by spreading how much Prabhupada works so hard to publish, write, translate, publish these wonderful books, which is the life and soul, the foundation of our movement. We're all here because of Srila Prabhupada's stepping off the Jaladuta, you could say, with his 3 volumes of the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto. It behooves us, if we all want to bring pleasure to Prabhupada and to get the mercy of Krishna, which we need and the whole world needs so much, and just to somehow or another be a part of his great yagya, his Sankirtan yagya, book distribution, particularly being at the cutting edge, change the world, Prabhupada's mood. I'm going to read a poem, another poem, and this appears in the book of Vijay Prabhu. It's quoted by Shivaram Swami. Now, Shivaram Swami is known to all of us, of course, to different lesser or greater degrees, and he's always been a devotee whose heart and soul have been in Prabhupada's books, both by reading them and by distributing them. And he's himself, for many decades, was going out regularly distributing books. Even when he was GBC of England, he was regularly going out distributing Prabhupada's books whenever the chance was there. And because he knows the absolute value of it for our own purification, for our own change of heart, for the removal of our various anarthas and our false egotistical perception of ourselves and the world around us and so on. Hopefully to develop a little bit of the mood of Trinada peace, Nichena, and so on. But he so much said in his one of the, I guess, Vijay Prabhu had asked him to write some memories or some experiences. So one of those was a poem which really inspired him. Some of you may have read this. If you've read Vijay Prabhu's book, you will have read it. And
You're fading out, Maharaj. Your connection is.
person who's not really anything directly to do with the Krishna conscious movement, but the message. Rohini, just give me a second. There's nothing I can do. I'm in someone's house, and for some reason, the internet company cut the internet off, and we're just trying to work on hotspot, but it's really poor, and we're a long way away from normal. I was going to drive to the temple tonight to do this, but they convinced me to stay here, saying it'd be okay. What
Now
can
it's
I do?
working. You're fine now. You're coming on. Can hear you strong now.
I'm back. We're back on again. It keeps
Yeah.
coming and go. Okay, well, we start off with a good line relevant to what we just said. This is a poem. It's called The Race, and some of you know it. It's by D.H. Groberg, whoever that is, some American poet. Quit. Give up. You're beaten. Ever had that feeling? They shout at me and plead. There's just too much against you now. This time you cannot succeed. And as I start to hang my head in front of failure's face, my downward fall is broken by the memory of a race. And hope refills my weakened will as I recall that scene. For just the thought of that short race rejuvenates my being. A children's race, young boys, young men, how I remember well. Excitement sure, but also fear. It wasn't hard to tell. They all lined up, so full of hope, each thought to win the race, or tie for first, or if not that, at least to take second place. And fathers watched from off the side, each cheering for his son, and each boy hoped to show his dad that he would be the one. The whistle blew, and off they went, young hearts and hopes afire. To win and be the hero there was each young boy's desire. And one boy in particular, whose dad was in the crowd, was running near the lead and thought, my dad will be so proud. But as they speeded down the field across a shallow dip, the little boy who thought to win lost his step and slipped. Trying hard to catch himself, his hands flew out to brace, and mid the laughter of the crowd he fell flat on his face. So down he fell, and with him hope. He couldn't win it now. Embarrassed, sad, he only wished to disappear somehow. But as he fell, his dad stood up and showed his anxious face, which to the boys so clearly said, get up and win the race. He quickly rose, no damage done, behind a bit, that's all, and ran with all his mind and might to make up for his fall. So anxious to restore himself, to catch up and to win. His mind went faster than his legs. He slipped and fell again. He wished then he had quit before with only one disgrace. I'm hopeless as a runner now. I shouldn't try to race. But in the laughing crowd he searched and found his father's face. That steady look which had said again, get up and win the race. So up he jumped and to try again, 10 yards behind the last. If I'm to gain those yards, he thought, I've got to move real fast. Exerting everything he had, he regained 8 or 10. But trying so hard to catch the lead, he slipped and fell again. Defeat, he lied there silently. A tear dropped from his eye. There's no sense running any more. 3 strikes, I'm out, why try? The will to rise had disappeared. All hope had fled away. So far behind, so error-prone, a loser all the way. I've lost, so what's the use, he thought. I'll live with my disgrace. But then he thought about his dad, who soon he'd have to face. Get up, an echo sounded low. Get up and take your place. You were not meant for failure here. Get up, win the race. With borrowed will, get up, it said. You haven't lost at all. For winning is no more than this, to rise each time you fall. So up he rose to run once more, and with a new commit, he resolved that win or lose, at least he would not quit. So far behind the others now, the most he'd ever been, still he gave it all he had, and ran as though to win. 3 times he'd fallen, stumbling. 3 times he rose again. Too far behind to hope to win, he still ran to the end. They cheered the winning runner as he crossed the line first place, head high and proud and happy. No falling, no disgrace. But when the fallen youngster crossed the line in last place, the crowd gave him the greater cheer for finishing the race. And even though he came in last, with head bowed low up unproud, you would have thought he'd won the race to listen to the crowd. And to his dad he sadly said, I didn't do too well. To me you won, his father said. You rose each time you fell. And now when things seem dark and hard and difficult to face, the memory of that little boy helps me in my race. For all of life is like that race, with ups and downs and all you have to do to win is rise each time you fall. Quit, give up, you're beaten, they still shout in my face. But another voice within me says, get up, win the race. Very nice moral or lesson we can learn from that, for sure, or remind us, not that we haven't heard it before in different ways. But it's nice to hear and nice to remember. Shiva Raman said it sustained him through many a difficulty on Sankirtan. In the early days, it was Krishna consciousness. And in one sense, at their stage, of course, it's not the stage of prema or bhava or a shakti or anything. We're still in the stage of trying to practice bhajan. But at least it's a lolium, an eagerness to practice or to perform a service, whatever it may be. Don't give up. We're not here for the results exactly. We're here to perform yajna. Without yajna, Prabhupada himself says, let me read this beautiful quote of Prabhupada. I can find it here. So to become God conscious, Prabhupada says, this is a lecture in 68 in LA, early day. So to become God conscious, to become Krishna conscious is not a very cheap thing. It requires a great amount of austerity, penance to come to this stage. This is the greatest austerity, reaching Krishna consciousness. It's not at all about fasting or even chanting 108 rounds or whatever, not sleeping. That may have its part to play sometimes, but the real business, even Prabhupada one time said that he couldn't perform the austerities of his godbrothers and his spiritual should have we heard anyway. Of course, this is not something we can absolutely say, but we know the mood of the spiritual master said, don't worry. Your service is to go out, spread this message, distribute the austerity. So never be disappointed, Prabhupada said, that because people are not responding. You see, there are many good examples. When Lord Jesus Christ also preached God consciousness, only a few followers were there. And still he had to sacrifice his life, but he was never disappointed. That should be the attitude of the preacher. People may accept, may not accept. We should go on. Because if Krishna is satisfied, if Krishna sees, oh, these boys are doing very nice, they are trying their best to preach, that is your reward, that's all. People may accept or not accept. It does not matter. Go on, go on. So the spirit of Srila Prabhupada, which he instilled in all of us, to not give up, no matter what the weather, no matter what the challenges may be. There will be challenges within, without. There'll be so many obstacles we could say on the path, whatever service we're doing, but particularly when we try to go out on the streets, door to door, whatever it is, there will be so many, personalities testing us. You don't see them as obstacles or inimical. They're opportunities to surrender, opportunities to take shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, opportunities to feel gratefulness is how we have got this wonderful opportunity, remembering the examples Prabhupada gave, Haridas Thakur, Lord Jesus Christ, Lord Nityananda himself, Pure Prabhupada himself, and so many wonderful devotees in our Krishna Consciousness Society today, through thick and thin, have carried on spreading, whether it's in communist countries, whether it's African countries, wherever it was, wherever it is, who preach no matter what the obstacles may be, they continue dedicating their lives to this mission of spreading the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is we haven't got much to say tonight. We're quite, let's say, we've been quite busy trying to keep up with things here and try to get out on the street whenever we can, even walking to the temple. We try to distribute some books on the way. Always carry books. We said this again and again. You never know who you meet. You never know who Krishna sends along. Always be prepared. The Boy Scouts, always be ready. Always be prepared. We have to. We're like that. We're also scouts going out looking for opportunities to give Krishna consciousness to others, inspiring each other. So always be armed. Don't go out unarmed. Always carry books wherever you go and take every opportunity we can to offer them to people, wherever it is, whichever city, town, village, home, wherever we are. So I'll just wind up with a couple of quotations here from Prabhupada, and if anyone wants to ask anything, you are most welcome to ask. Prabhupada says, yes, that is a good proposal. Print many, many books in African language, and if anyone's in Africa, maybe not, and distribute widely. That is real preaching work. Paris is a little like Africa, where we go on Sankirtan. Sometimes the majority of people are from Africa. It's like some parts of Paris are 90% African people. If you sell a book to someone, that is better than you're speaking to them. What will your 3 minutes preaching do? But if they read a book, it may turn their life. Go on preaching. That is the highest perfection of activity. And do not worry for anything. Krishna is so much appreciative of this preaching work that he will give you every facility as much as you have ambition. You may be a bit ambitious, as early letter. We no doubt we have our own self-ambitions, but at least try to dovetail them with the desire of the pure devotee of the Lord and use them as some kind of tool to preach Krishna consciousness, because it's not an everlasting state of attitude, you could say, but it's a great attitude if we use it in service of Krishna, at least at our neophyte stages, trying to do more and more books. Maybe a little time there's there for competition, but it should be healthy competition, not that it becomes envious or jealousy creeps in, but rather happy to see others beat us in numbers or whatever you do in your yatras, but to do better on Sankirtan. This is a spirit which Prabhupada encouraged. Those who were around certainly know that, and those who've read about it know that too. The Elak of the Sankirtan scores, and he would sometimes, get on the case of Tamal Krishna Maharaj or Rameshwara. How will he be able to live now that Tamal has been beaten? How will he be able to carry on? Prabhupada would play them like this, trying to get them worked up to do more and more and more books. Yeah, Prabhupada was a transcendental kind of conjurer like that. Our preaching work will be measured by the quantity of books that we distribute, so continue ever increasingly. Take care that the devotees do not become sick. An important part of Sankirtan life in general is to try to maintain health, physical health. So Prabhupada mentions, particularly here in regards to the Sankirtan, the book distributors, they try to make sure they don't become sick. We we went out buying various medical stuff a few days ago and trying to do a few things to help the devotees to maintain good health during the marathon or help them if they do get sick. They should always be properly clothed and fed. Good prasadam, good clothing. My first consent, I remember in 1972 when Prabhu Vishnu started the first Sankirtan party in the UK, in Europe actually, in May 72. We were very lucky because because it was the temple was really poor. I mean, those days most of the temples at least in Europe were pretty poor, and we were poor in Bury Place in London. We were real poor, no money practically for anything. But the Sankirtan devotees had special. I mean, because we were collecting money, selling books, they had special privileges in a sense. We actually had nice coats. We had shoes to wear. Nobody else had shoes. They all had these flip-flops. I know what the name for them are. Some kind of sandals with just a strap on them. And most of the boys had no socks. We were kind of kitted out for the street. We were kind of opulent compared to everyone else in that sense. And things were dirt cheap in those days. Didn't cost much money. But like that. So Prabhupada wanted the devotees to actually be all the devotees, not just the book distributors, health, look after their health, and have sufficient warmth and sufficient prasadam suitable. That was another early letter, 72. Srila Prabhupada personally wrote me that. This is an inspiring letter I got from Giriraj Maharaj some years ago, and I wrote to him that we're gonna. This is actually 8-9 years ago because we resurrected the marathon, you could say, in France in 2017. So I'd written to him for some encouragement, and he wrote me back this letter. Srila Prabhupada, this is what he says. Srila Prabhupada personally wrote me, go on increasing books and go on increasing my pleasure. The December Marathon is a special opportunity to increase the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and the Parampara by distributing books about Krishna consciousness. So I encourage you all to increase their pleasure and your own by distributing as many books as possible. As Srila Prabhupada said in Los Angeles, Prabhupada said, so I took this up from my Guru Maharaj's mouth, that he is very fond of books. And he told me personally that if you get some money, print books. Therefore, I'm stressing on this point. Where is book? Where is book? Where is book? So kindly help me. That is my request. Print as many books in as many languages and distribute for. Then the Krishna conscious movement will automatically increase. So I wish you all the best, Guru Rajman said, by Srila Prabhupada and Sri Sri Gaura grace. Very encouraging when we get letters from senior Vaishnavas, even a little, wherever we are, we may be a little country like, Kosovo, or Liechtenstein or something, wherever we are, we should know that Prabhupada is looking, that Krishna is looking, and he's very appreciating our little efforts, even if others don't notice it. It gets noticed by the Lord. It's very, very important to see, or to remember that Krishna is watching us all. And he's very pleased with those devotees who are trying to perform this little yoga, even in a small way, even if we just distribute some magazines, but some way or another to be a part of this great mission. United we stand to spread Krishna consciousness in this difficult age of Kali Yuga. It's a great privilege, it's a great joy, it's a great good fortune. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So I'll think I'll finish there if that's okay. But if anyone has any questions, please do ask. And if we can further discuss whatever, I'm happy. I'm at your service. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for taking your time, valuable time that you're engaging so intensely in Prabhupada Marathon to inspire also all the other devotees around Europe. And of course, your talk will be is recorded, and then we'll be sending it out to everyone who can listen to it also later on if they missed out. I was just going to mention, I was just looking here in the front. There's one devotee named Bhaktin Katarina. I hope she can understand the English enough. She's here. Bhaktin Katarina. Her son they have one son, one child, and he went to England years ago, and he met the devotees and became a devotee. He's now on the Prabhupada Marathon in London and fully engaged. And they're very proud of him. And they also, they have a restaurant. They've been trying to get rid of the restaurant and change it, but they haven't been able to sell the restaurant. So they're going on, so they decided to Krishnaize their restaurant, and they have a book table, prasadam, distribution, and everyone who comes in, she's always sending me pictures almost every day of some person that came to the restaurant and took a book, took a Bhagavad Gita. So that's just to show that you could anywhere and everywhere and anywhere you are, whatever situation in life you have, you can distribute books.
Yeah.
One devotee just asked me, he just called me. I said, I was a brahmachari, I was distributing books. I decided I needed to move back outside and start working, and I got married. And I said, well, it doesn't mean you have to stop distributing books. He said, oh, I didn't think it's not black and white. Everyone in any situation in life, they can engage.
Absolutely.
Bhakti Katarina is a good example of her in her work, giving the books to people.
Wonderful. Yeah, this is going on more and more. In fact, it definitely is. I mean, Vaisheshika in many ways, almost all of the devotees in San Jose, they're almost all living outside and working. Now they may be going out the weekends and so on, no doubt, but they're also finding ways. Many of our devotees here who are maybe not so, let's say, strongly, you know, like Katrina, are doing it like that. We have one here who has an antique shop, and he has he has a whole book display there in the antique shop. Practically everyone who comes in goes away with a book. You know, it can be done in different ways. You know, there's no doubt about that. And you know, we got the Gita Jayanti coming up on Monday. I don't know if it's Monday everywhere, but it's Monday in France, and it's
all over Europe.
pretty much. I don't know, but it usually is. It's a fantastic day. You know, there's like an extra energy surcharge. You know, I know devotees like to sit down and chant the whole Gita, which is also very nice. But if we give the Gita to others on that day, then millions of people can you know, even if the Prabhupada said, even if we heard just now, you have to just read one word. You know that this is the real glorification of the Gita. There's no one more dear than one who preaches this message of the Bhagavad Gita. But this is devotees, no doubt, but Prabhupada says to everyone. So it's a great day. I mean, I don't know, there's a special energy on that day. Very special if we take advantage of it and pray. Pray to Srila Prabhupada, pray to maybe to Arjuna also. We can go on the battlefield and, you know, conquer, so to speak, on that day. So we're going to try our best. Last year we did 1,004 Gitas on Gita Jayanti. 99.9% were on the street. A few books here and there, but primarily it's a great day, and marathons are great to bring people together. You know, and we're all, you know, there's not a question if you did one and I did 10,000. We're all part of the same family team. It's like Lord Ram conquering over Lanka. You know, whether you're a spider or whether you're a Hanuman, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Ram, in their case, Lord Chaitanya, but Lord Ram is looking at the heart. He's looking at your capacity. You're doing the best you can. So no matter where we are, housewives, you know, you're whatever it is, everyone's got this opportunity to share Krishna consciousness like that. Even babies, sometimes children, they love to, you know, give books to others. There's so many ways it can be done. So many.
There's one devotee named Emil. Emil wants to ask a question.
Yeah, he's here with me.
Oh, he's here with me. Okay.
Well, he's not in the room with me. We were in the room earlier on. He's in the temple, and I'm about 30, 40 minutes away from the temple.
He says he wants to ask a question.
He wants to ask a question. Emil is an amazing devotee. I just mentioned something. One day he's a French from France. He's a French person. Very unique soul, like everyone who comes to Krishna consciousness, particularly, and transformed just by reading Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. He was I don't hope I don't embarrass him, but I was also a meat eater, as most of us probably were, but he was a strong meat eater. And as soon as he read Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, he apparently gave it all up. And he started chanting Hare Krishna. He never met the devotees per se. He got the Gita. And he started getting others to chant Hare Krishna. Then he decided to come to the temple and joined. And now he's one of our Sankirtan party at the moment in Paris for the marathon.
Are you there, Emil? Can you get on?
I'm here. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Maharaj, for the class. Thank you so much.
Show your face.
Thank you. Yeah, my question is, how can we do when the mental during the book distribution puts you really down? Because it's really easy to distribute when we feel ecstasy and the books are flying, but when nothing is working and no one is responding and the mental just tell you, yeah, just stop, or we can just go over this.
Well, you probably, I don't know if you heard the whole poem. I don't know, but we read a
Yeah,
poem.
yeah, yeah.
Pretty
But just
much.
get up, oh, just get up and just get up. But sometimes,
Well,
oh, we cannot trust and listen to the mind. What?
yeah. Well, sometimes it's got to, sometimes, well, different devotees will have different experiences here, but, I just pick up a book, one of Prabhupada's books, read for a while, try to remember, just associate with a pure devotee for a few minutes and understand what we're really doing here. Associate with a
Mm,
devotee, another devotee. It's very difficult when you're on your own, that's a fact. But when you've got other devotees around you, maybe that also helps quite often to associate with each other. And, devotee helps the other devotee, bucks them up a little bit. A little change sometimes. We're having Harinam Sankirtan going out every day, side by side with with a book distribution. There's a party going. Sometimes it's not even a bad idea. So when you're down a little bit, to join the Harinam for a little while, dance, chant, and feel the happiness of chanting the holy names or associating with Krishna in his Namarup form, or just chant japa sometimes, or just pray to the Lord. Try to the way I look at this is actually special. We have one devotee. He's not here now. His name's Acharya. He's not been here for a few years. He's coming back soon, and he is an example, amazing example. He's probably one devotee who has maybe the lowest results that you can imagine. I mean, many days he'd go out for like 6 to 8 hours and do 0 books. Literally. I took him to England one time and we went to this town and the books were flying, And I said, well, this is pretty good here, isn't it? He said, no. I said, what do you mean? You just done like 10 books in an hour and a half. No, you've not done that in a whole day in France. And he said, no, it's not so good here. And I said, why? Why did you say that? And he said, well, in France, I meditate on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We have to become humble, more than the straw on the street, tolerant more than the tree, devoid of, self-esteem and trying to always offer respect unto others. He said, he said, I find in France this is a wonderful facility for really meditating on what Lord Chaitanya wants. It's not just about numbers, history and books, but Lord Chaitanya is looking for our heart. He's looking for us to turn to him and not just, depend. We do in the beginning. I fully appreciate what you say. I mean, who amongst us doesn't feel the same way? But it's to turn to Krishna. That little boy was turning to his dad, you can say. So from our point of view, our dad is Krishna. Our dad is Srila Prabhupada, whatever. Like that, we turn to them. And even if we are last, we try to turn to them. We think of them. And my business. I remember one time I was on a traveling Sankirtan party and oh boy, were things going bad for me. This is maybe, I don't know, 75, 76 or something. And I just wanted to quit, I couldn't handle it no more. I just wanted to get out of there. And I was thinking what to do. I can't go back to the temple. I'll be a disgrace. What am I going to do? Just couldn't hack it. So I thought, well, what to do? So I started praying. I said, Krishna, I'm the real neophyte and still am, but Krishna is my Lord. If this is what you want me to do for the rest of my life, our business is to serve you. That's why we exist. And this is really what you want me to do. Please, I just ask one thing. Please give me the strength to endure and to carry on, whatever it may take. And believe me, the next morning was like waking up in a new world, completely new world. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was like the scores were still whatever it was still the same thing going on, but the approach was totally different. I was no longer, stressed out, listening to my mind, and so on and so forth. So to me, this is a test. It's the same when you're chanting japa. It's like, does your mind not give you trouble? Is it like the mind is completely cooperative? Maybe not. Mind's not. Is always thinking of things. Try to remember or to take shelter. Krishna, Daivi Amamaya Dharatiya. This material energy is very strong, very difficult to overcome. Very difficult. We can't overcome it. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says it's impossible for the jiva to single-handedly overcome the illusion of distraction. It's only possible with the mercy of the Lord. Therefore, we should fervently pray to the Lord for his mercy. There is no other way. So, in one sense, these situations are great opportunities, more so than when the things are going well. We tend to, become encouraged by the results. No doubt everyone in the material world does. In the spiritual world, the result is how much Krishna is becoming pleased. So we try to turn to Krishna in these difficult situations. This is the art. This is the idea. This is why Krishna puts us sometimes in these situations. Everyone's had this experience. And when things are going very well and we think we're doing well, then usually Krishna pulls the carpet away from under our feet. Isn't it Tridas Prabhu? You must have had that many times on Sankirtan. You think, oh God, I'm doing really well today. I'm the champion. Then all of a sudden, 2 hours later, not one book has been gone. Only people come up to you and get out of here, you bum, you lazy guys. Take your books and do something with them. They do all sorts of things. And you really feel, oh my, what happened? What happened? You know, it's not so much what happened. We're not here, it's what's happening in our hearts. The whole process is to change our heart and just to see ourselves as Krishna's eternal servant. We exist for his pleasure. And everything that happens, Krishna's hand is there. Don't worry. Try to see Krishna's hand working in happiness and distress, victory and failure, whatever it may be. Just try to take shelter of Krishna. So, well, there we go. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know, there's something else on the screen. Is that from Emil or is that from someone else? I can't read it. No, it's from another devotee in Holland, Ananda Vrindavan. So, when I first came to the temple, I don't know, try to ask, but where did you join? In San Francisco?
San Francisco, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what it was
Yeah.
like there, but I came in 71. You were before me, I think. I came in 71. And the devotees were going out every day. They had no books then. They had only magazines, Somehow they ran out of books in London. So they were going out. And the first day I went as a guest. I was not actually shaved up. I was dressed in jeans with long hair. So I wanted to go out with them and try to distribute magazines. And I was so chuffed. I did 4 magazines. And the temple was like in awe. I was a top distributor that day with 4 magazines. I felt so chuffed. Wow, how did I do that? 4 magazines. Now, if you went out all day, 4 magazines for 10 pence each. That's how much we were selling them for, 10p. That's like peanuts. I mean, you say, oh my God, all day. Well, not, it wasn't all day, maybe 3 or 4 hours. But, 4 magazines, that's like ridiculous. But you may think like that. It's all relative and comparative. It's not the real business. It's the heart. It's like children growing up. You don't expect that the same result will be there. And we're kids. So, and then I remember many times the big books came. We were going out day after day after day and doing 0 books. 0 between the whole party. Not one. Krishna books. Big Krishna books. Those big ones. And we go door to door. We didn't know what to do. No, we would go all over. Not a single book was going out. We didn't know how to do it. We weren't like the San Francisco Warriors. We were like, London space cases. We had really no idea. And it was only when one or two devotees came. I remember Keshava came through one time, I think with Buddhi Mantra.
Buddhimata.
I think so. Yeah, and they really kind of like cool, set the place on fire. We didn't know what hit us, It was like, what's going on here? And there was one devotee, maybe before that, I can't remember. It's Bidan Chandra. I think he came from Holland or something. And he went out one day on Oxford Street and he distributed like 9 Krishna books. And we were all aghast. We couldn't believe it. How is that possible? We were afraid to talk to him. We thought he was an avatar or something. We were really afraid to talk to him. So, wow, we were all looking up to him with awe, as if he was some demigod or something. It's like it's very relative, and it's not just about the result. It's our attitude. And it's for the change of our hearts as well as the preaching. Of course, we want to be a part of a preaching mission. We want to do as much as we can, but it's our consciousness. The spider was pushing grains of sand into the ocean. Hanuman was putting mountains into the ocean to build the bridge. But to Lord Ram, the spider was the same as Hanuman. They're doing their best. They're doing their best. And it's never, we know again and again, if we read the book, you can just pick up the Bhagavad Gita. So many verses, isn't it? Not being attached to the results, whether happy or distress, whether victory or defeat, so to speak, or success or failure, to be equipoised, steady, understanding, seeing Krishna in the center.
So we only have a couple more minutes, and we have 2 devotees who have questions. Nitai Chand, Ananda Vrindavan, Devi Dasi was here first. It's her question. Looks like a little long.
Little similar. I kind of read it already. We know these type of Nanda Vrindavan's a wonderfully enthusiastic Sankirtan devotee. She's working lady. She's got a baby. She works a full-time job. She takes every opportunity to provide our own book
Your hot
distribution.
is going off.
It's wonderful in that sense. Wonderful. I know I'm getting old. I'm fading out. I'm sorry. Old age, what to do.
It's not you, the computer.
Oh, I thought you said I was fading out.
No, the computer's you're not fading.
I'm probably fading out. She's a wonderful example, whatever she says here, probably asking for others, and at the same time, not how to balance raising the bar ever increasingly at the same time, not getting discouraged, even to the point of self-sabotage, fear to approach people. Don't we all have it sometimes? By too high self-expectations that might be unrealistic to achieve, or we simply are not there yet. How to not get discouraged by it. If I tell you only to read 4 books a day, I feel so embarrassed. Well, I feel so pleased if you just try to distribute 1 magazine. It's such a wonderful, it's so wonderful. How does your dad feel? How do you feel when your kid goes out on no, not on Sancta, but when your kid makes the first step, when it says the first word, when he gives you the first little gift, you feel head over heels about it. It's so wonderful. Okay, so you've been going out and sometimes the scores don't hit that peak and you want to raise the bar, but then things don't reach the bar. What do you do? What do you do? Well, they say, try again, or we don't give up. What does raising the bar mean? What does it mean? We try for higher. What does they say? Shoot for the rhino. We try for the. We know ourselves. Even in the world campaign, sometimes we don't quite make our targets, isn't it? We didn't make the target this year in the Badra campaign, for instance. But we don't give up. We just try. We're happy to do the yogya, happy to do the service. So I don't know what I've already said a little bit along these lines. I'm sure much more realization could be shared and offered by other more realized souls, but I don't know. It's just to me, it's like so. I don't remember when I go out on Sankirtan. I just mix it with I have to sit down a lot of the time, And I just had to call people over, and I don't even speak the language, and they don't understand what I'm saying. I don't understand what they're saying. I mean, it's not like many books go out, but it's just being a part of seeing other devotees around you, distributing books and meditating on the books going out all over the world. And meditating on Srila Prabhupada alone in New York, alone in Delhi, trying to distribute his books in various ways. Sometimes no one was taking. So many letters you can read of Prabhupada in 65, 66 in New York when he was trying to sell his books. No, 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 no. And what can you say? He's an Uttama Bhagavat. So if that, I mean, you think, immediately everyone would just be like magnetically, convinced of something. It is not quite this. It's not quite the point. It's the sincere endeavor, the sincere endeavor. And so if we don't make the mark, what do you feel? You feel humbled. We're no longer the doer. It's not I can do or I am doing. I did, but it humbles us to become dependent on the Lord. My dear Lord, whatever you wish, I am your instrument. This mentality more. Just make ourselves an Nimittamatra Vabhasava Sachin, an instrument in the Lord's hands, as much as we can. Hare Krishna.
So I think we're going to have to end. It's a little bit after 8 o'clock. I know Nitai Charan, such a wonderful devotee, Rasanand, I think is with him, right?
They're doing.
Doing
They're in
amazing.
Madeira. They're in Madeira. Are you in
Madeira.
Madeira?
That's right. They went to these islands.
Yeah, they went to the islands. So they're doing their marathon in Madeira, as far as I know.
No, he says no. He says no. Let's turn on the audio of Nitai Charan.
Yeah, you changed your plan.
Uh-huh. So,
Hare Krishna Maharaj, we remained in continental Portugal. We are in Aveiro in the north.
Where are you? Aveda. You're still in Portugal.
Aveiro,
Yeah, Aveda. In Portugal.
yes.
Mainland. You're not going to Madeira?
No, we changed the plan, Maharaj.
No problem. Good. All glories to your services, all glories to all the devoted services. We hope and pray that everybody has an ecstatic experience during this marathon, that you just want to make the marathon last forever. Usually at the end of the marathon, we don't want it to stop. We may be tired, maybe not everyone feels that, but it's just so exciting. And, working together, the unity, that unifying factor, which comes about if we're turning to Krishna and just appreciating everyone's contribution, no matter how small it is. I try to get every devotee to take at least one magazine, distribute it. Somehow everyone be a part of this. So when a wonderful devotee just left when his father just left their body, he had to go to India. So they took books to distribute in the local language where they're going, on the plane and in the stopover places they're going. Everyone will be a part of this. They gave some money to sponsor Gitas. Like this, we can all work together to try to help each other as a team. Alone, we're lost. But whether it's Ananda Vrindavan or Emil or anyone else, and all of us have an experience that we do go through ups and downs. But when we hold hands and together and appreciate it, we don't force each other. We just try to encourage each other, support each other. Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you, Tridas Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for your association.
I've still got 1 hour left to distribute at least one book today. I had no time to distribute a book. I gave a lot of books to others to distribute, but I didn't distribute any myself today, I'm afraid.
Between here and the temple, you can.
No, I'm staying here, I'm afraid. There's no one on the street. I walked for 20 minutes last night. I didn't see a single human being on the street. It's kind of quiet suburb somewhere outside of Paris. And
So you have to recuperate it tomorrow.
They kicked me out of the temple. There's no room for me anymore.
Okay, thank you again so much, Maharaj. Thank you to all of the devotees, all the wonderful devotees who participated in this meeting. And I'm sure they're super inspired.
Tomorrow, Saturday. Let's get out there. That used to be the big day. I don't know that used to be the biggest day of the week, Saturday. It's not necessarily the case now, but it used to be.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, all glories to
Haribol,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Haribol Maharaj, Hare
Thank you, Maharaj.
Krishna.
The-
Oh,
I'm just going to go and
obeisances,
get my
Maharaj,
book bag
Haribol.
ready now for tomorrow, so I can
My
have an early
obeisances.
start.
Mhm.
Just going to go and
I
pack
think
it.
everybody will be extremely inspired after your talk. I think it's a
Hare
great idea.
Krishna, Hare Bol.
Haribol, Hare Krishna, Haribol.
Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Krishna, thank you.
Haribol. Now I want to read Prabhupada's books tonight and try to distribute them tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, thank you.
Haribol.
Thank you.
Hit the pavement. Let's try that. As Sri Krishna said, just hit the pavement. Okay, let's just go to battle.
I said
Hare
you're the channel, Marsh.
Haribol.
Haribol.